What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to talk about this chaos that's going on in Congress right now, and we're going to talk about why it's important, because this is important for every American to be paying attention to what's going on in the House and the fact that we do not have a speaker. If we don't have a speaker, that means that we can't move forward with legislation. If we can't move forward with legislation, that is going to impact the American people. And on November 17th, if we don't vote for the budget for 2024, we're looking at a government shutdown. That will impact every American. We're going to see people out of work, and we're also going to see our economy suffer from this. And it won't be just government employees that are out of work. You're going to see this trickle into every aspect of our economy. Because if you have, and just to give an example, let's say you have a government building and that government building is now shut down, but you have restaurants and cleaners and all these different businesses within that little area. If you have employees that have been laid off, federal employees that have been laid off, that means that they're not going to be frequenting these different establishments, which means these businesses will probably have to lay off people as a result of this. And so we're going to talk about this. We're going to start from the beginning, and then we're going to work our way all the way to where I think this will go in the very near future. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter and Threads, you can at the TEC Show Live. Okay, so I want to go right over to this illustration that I've made up here for you guys. And we're going to talk about first how we got here. So this is how we got here. We had one representative, Matt Gaetz. He requested a motion to vacate the speaker. And so that's what happened. We saw 7 other Republicans come alongside and vote to vacate the speaker. Okay, now we also had Democrats. Okay, so this is the group that voted to vacate the speaker. Now, Democrats had a motive. Their motive is they want Hakeem Jeffries to be the speaker. And these 8 Republicans, their motive was they just didn't want McCarthy to be speaker. And so you're hearing a lot of talk. You hear former Speaker McCarthy saying, look, it's Democrats and these 8 Republicans that have created all this. The reality is Democrats never wanted McCarthy. They've always wanted Hakeem Jeffries, and they always voted for Hakeem Jeffries. They just see an opportunity because you have 8 Republicans that didn't want Speaker McCarthy, so they have an opportunity now to continue voting for Hakeem Jeffries and maybe bring over a few Republicans to vote for Hakeem Jeffries as well, and then Hakeem Jeffries becomes the next speaker. That's really probably not going to happen, but I'm just saying that's what the Democrats are looking for. That's the reason why they voted to vacate, is because they wanted to move forward with their person for speaker. This is what we've seen so far, and this is really interesting because I don't see this ending with a speaker. At least I see it ending with a temporary speaker, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But we saw Representative Scalise. They nominated him first. Guess what? He said no. He stepped down. He said there's no way. He saw that there was no possible way that he would be the next speaker. So then what do? They nominated Jordan. And Jordan said, okay, let's hold some votes. They held some votes, and finally he said, okay, or I don't even think he said. They actually voted and said that he's not going to. They nominated him first, and then they voted and said no. And this is all behind closed doors. Okay, so they said no. We're gonna go with someone else. So just yesterday we saw Representative Emmer, and so he was the new nominee. After only 4 hours, he said no. They didn't have the votes, and so he said no. And so now we're looking at Representative Johnson. We'll have to see what they do, if they hold a vote, or if they're going to do it behind closed doors to see if they have the numbers. We'll have to see. But I don't think they're going to get to a speaker. And the reason why they're not going to get to a speaker is because you have a real split in the Republican Party right now. And that split is keeping them from all coming on board and voting for a speaker. because they'll find something that they don't like about whoever is running, and then they'll say, okay, we're not going to go with that person. They need 217 votes. So if you have 5 defectors, it's not going anywhere. And so that's the problem that they're having right now. And I don't see that being solved. I don't care who you pull up. They're always going to have, you're going to have some people who don't like that person for whatever reason. Their policy decisions, or they might just personally not like that person. And so this is not going to go anywhere. Okay, so what are the options? Now, I stated this option earlier. Now, this is probably not going to happen, but it could potentially happen. Let's say you had 5 or 6 Republicans that voted for Hakeem Jeffries, and then you had all the Democrats vote for Hakeem Jeffries. It gives you the 218 votes, or 217, whatever's needed. 217, I believe, is needed. It gives you the votes that you need in order for Hakeem Jeffries to become Speaker. So we could have a Democrat as Speaker, and of course, Hakeem Jeffries is going to need to give concessions to the Republicans that voted for him. But you have the Problem Solvers Caucus, so you have some moderate Republicans and some Republicans that are in districts where they really need to work with Democrats because their district is heavily, you have a lot of Democrats in their district and they're running for re-election. And so this could be kind of that olive branch, like, I'll help you guys out. Hopefully, this will help me get reelected. So you might have some Republicans that do that. Now, I said, this is pretty far-fetched. I don't see Republicans giving up that power. I just don't, because they have the majority. So use the majority in order to have a Republican Speaker. So the other option, Speaker pro tempore. They could have McHenry stay as Speaker for they're saying another 80 days. So basically through the end of the year. And then during that 80 days, you can have people basically applying for the job. So they can be campaigning and trying to get the numbers that are needed in order to become Speaker. So that's what we could see. But if we were to see that, you're going to have some Republicans and Democrats get on board to vote for this. Why? Because in the Republican Party, you have some Republicans that are saying, no, we need a Speaker now. We're not going to do this whole 80-day, just kick the can down the road thing. We want a Speaker now. And so that would mean that when it comes to Republicans, you're going to need at least 109 votes. And then with Democrats, you're going to need at least 109 votes. Okay, now I say at least, and I shouldn't even say it that way. Basically, you're going to need the 217 votes that are needed in order to move this forward. And you'll probably have the majority of that coming from Republicans. Let's say 180, and then Democrats pitch in 40 votes or so. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you have McHenry as the Speaker pro tem, McHenry is a Republican, and so you're not going to have a lot of Democrats that are going to say, okay, well, yeah, let's go with McHenry, because McHenry's going to have to offer some concessions to Democrats for this even to happen. Because right now, Democrats are just sitting back and they're just watching all of this, and they're trying to figure out how can we get the most leverage out of this situation. Okay, because they have an agenda. Democrats have an agenda. Republicans have an agenda. They both have different platforms, and so they're going to want different things. They're going to want to vote on different things. They're going to want to support different bills. Not all together. I mean, some bills, like when it comes to funding the government for 2024, that's something that should be bipartisan. And I think it is when it comes down to the moderate Republicans, and then for the most part, the Democrats, they don't want to see a government shut down. And so they can work together, but we need a Speaker in order to make that happen. So having this Speaker pro tem, that would give them the opportunity. Let's say the Speaker pro tem, like I said, is there for 80 days. It gives them an opportunity to get past November 17th, because November 17th, we're looking at a shutdown if we don't have a Speaker. And so we don't want that to happen, obviously. And so that gives them kind of, Congress likes to have deadlines. That gives them a deadline date where, look, we need to have something done by this time. And as I stated before, when we're looking at these different people running for Speaker, I don't see it going anywhere, because you're always going to have, in the Republican Party, you're always going to have that divide. You're going to have some people that are not going to want to go along with whoever that speaker is. And all you need is 5. And so it's going to be very, very difficult for them to move forward with anyone. So those are the options right now. I don't really see anything else happening. I heard that our former Speaker McCarthy is talking about we can have kind of like I could be the speaker and then have an assistant speaker. I don't even know what he's talking about, but obviously McCarthy wants to get back in there and have a second chance. And so we'll have to even see if they even entertain that, but it's going to have to be all Republicans. Democrats aren't going to support that. So you're going to have all Republicans on board in order to make that happen. And I just don't see that happening. I think at this point, they've gone too far to go back to Speaker McCarthy, and that would really look chaotic. You went through all of this, you wasted all of this time, and now you're going to go back to the same speaker that you had before. It just doesn't seem logical to me. But I want to know what you guys think about this whole situation, so let me know down below. I'll be posting a video later today, so make sure you subscribe, hit that little bell notification, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.